Hello, everybody. I'm not sure if my microphone is working all right. I hope it is. I was going to do some world building today, and I thought it would be a good idea to to just show how I world build pretty much. So this all has to do with. I hope the microphone's working. It's all very puzzling. So this all has to do with my Heathen series. So that's this series here. And what I found, especially in collaboration with the graphic designer, is I always know what I want in terms of the characters and the... Sorry, my dogs are coming in. In terms of the characters and what they want and, but I never really have much of an idea about how to describe them to the graphic designer, which is very, very interesting for someone who is an author. I've been writing for years. I've got the Heathen series. That's what the first book in the series. And I've also got The Dwellers Beneath the Arches. So that's the first book, that's the second book, and that's the third book. So I've got those three. But when it comes to putting everything in words to my to the book designers, the cover designers, I always fall short for some reason, because I don't use practical language with them. I use very flowery language, and I don't know why I do that, but I do. So I'm going to do a lot of world building today for this series. There's the fact that there is a short prequel available online. That's A Perilous Rescue. So it's a prequel to that book. And it's the reason I made the prequel was to give readers the chance to understand a lot of the backstory behind the series. So that was the reason. I'm very happy with it, though. I'm very happy with the book so far. And yeah, so when I do a lot of my world building, I like to draw. It might seem very silly, but I've been doing this since I was a kid. I like to put little sketches on paper, and I have lots of books like this where I've just filled them with very random sketches, and I thought it would be a good idea for viewers to sort of see how my mind works. I don't know how other authors do it, but this is how I tend to work. It might be a bit bizarre for some, but it's just the way I like to do it. I always start by putting the date on, and the date today is 24th of March 2024. So I know a lot of people asked if I would let them know when I next had a live, and it's really difficult to do so at the moment, because at the moment I want a lot of my lives to be sort of when I have a spark of inspiration, and inspiration is not happening at certain times at the moment. I will start to coordinate my lives better, and this is only my first proper live. The other live I had was pretty much a practice session, but I think it's just, I love this bit of it. I love doing the world building, and I like how it sparks my creativity. My camera is doing some strange things. There we go. I love how it sparks my creativity. If you can hear me, let me know. If you can't hear me, let me know as well, and I'll sort it out. I hope you can hear me, because I'm using a microphone, and I hope it actually does work, because that would be an absolute nightmare if it doesn't. It'll be very, very embarrassing as well. Right, so I want to start with... I bought loads of these pens the other day, and I hope they do work. All right. So this series, the Heathen series, is all about witches and warlocks. It's witches, warlocks, magical kingdoms, um, and very mythical creatures across the world from different cultures. And what I like about this series is it gives me the chance to delve deeper into the different mythologies across different cultures, because I think we are very aware of certain cultures and their mythologies, but there's so much more out there. And one thing I liked about the book is that it just allows me to just go absolutely crazy with all the different ideas. Now, this book starts with it's the first book in the series, so it's a dark welcome. A vanishing act is going to be book 2. Now, the prequel to this is a perilous rescue, and that's online. That's a free book online. It's a free short story, and it reads: London, 2 grand houses grace the banks of the Thames, a sanctuary for budding witches and warlocks to master their powers and learn of their heritage. But as 3 troubled young witches immerse themselves into their new world, they realize that their new city may hide a darker secret. A force stalks them through the streets, and terrifying visions tell of horrors to come. But does the danger lie outside the house or deeper within? So that's the blurb, that's the title of the book. And I just want to start world building now. I just want to see it as I want my editor, hopefully, and my cover designers to see it as well. So it's all witchy kingdoms. And in these witchy kingdoms, you do have different clans, witching clans and warlock clans, and as is always the case, there is a bit of infighting going on. Now, I'm not the best art. I'm actually pretty terrible at art, but this is how I like to imagine my books and imagine my series. Now this, I'm actually designing or world building from the prequel, A Perilous Rescue. Heathens. A Perilous Rescue. And it means that when it comes to it, all I have to do is show the designer this, and she knows exactly what I'm talking about. So this is supposed to represent the houses, the sanctuary that's based in London, that's on the bank, or on the edge of the River Thames. It's supposed to be a really nice, magnificent building, but as you know, my artwork isn't great. Well, that's what it's supposed to represent. I used to be much better at drawing as a child, and somehow, along the way, I lost that skill. I don't know how I did it, but somehow I did, if that's possible. Yeah. If no one can hear me, I would like to know. That'd be really helpful. So these houses are supposed to be quite the way I describe them in the books is that they're supposed to be quite grand, but they are supposed to be quite mysterious looking. So they have to remain hidden from everyday Londoners who are just going past, because they have quite unusual features to them. Yeah. They have quite unusual features to them, and that makes them quite fascinating to look at. So I've run out of quite a few pens, which is quite a bit of ink. I did used to try and use acrylic paints, but I don't know how my paints are working at the moment, or if they actually are. Yeah, that's a very light colour. But the premise behind this is to get to know my world really well. And also it helps because when my graphic designer says, "Oh, what am I looking at? What are you thinking?" rather than trying to describe it to her, I can just show her. Yeah. Now the whole idea behind these books is that these new witches and warlocks come into this establishment, and someone or some people are trying, they're in danger. They're supposed to be safe in these houses, but they are actually in danger. So I want to draw something that represents the river, but I don't know how I'll do that. Okay, so that's supposed to be one of the bridges. I should know what bridge this represents because I've lived in London, but honestly, it just escapes me right now. I bought these pens the other day and they worked out pretty cheaply, but I absolutely adore them because they're just different colours, and I do love having all the colours. So this year is supposed to be, what year is it supposed to be? Let me have a quick look. It's supposed to be, just checking my book offline. This is supposed to be, So that's the book that this is based on. A Perilous Rescue, right? So this is so this is the prequel, and then this is book 1, right? Prequel, book 1. So basically what I'm doing is to sketch up the characters a bit more, because the prequel is pretty important to the story, to the way the series commences. And it means that I can sort of sketch out the entire world. So this is supposed to be the West Indies, 1910. So this is actually London, but the story, this is set in the West Indies in 1910. Okay. That's one colour. And it just helps because it helps and it's fun as well and it's creative. So why not? And if anyone has any tips, any art tips, that would be fantastic. Obviously, I'm using pens at the moment, which is probably not the best idea, but here we go. And it's probably a bad idea to put the date there, to be honest. But hey ho, hey ho. That's fine. I'll survive. I tell you what, it's really hard to try and create anything on camera. Even though I'm not technically on camera, but you know what I mean. I thought I'd try and highlight brickwork, and I don't know if that would be a good idea or not. Make little bricks all along the... So this is supposed to represent the river, and I don't know if I should... this is a good idea or not. And I have no eraser. What a fantastic idea. Very well thought out. Okay, I want to draw okay. I think I do need better pencils because Wouldn't it be cool if every artist could draw? That would be just amazing. But so I think I'm going to do this every week, or every day for the next week, because I've got lots of inspiration at the moment. There's where that was. Lots of inspiration at the moment, and I'm just getting lots of different ideas. And I think when I get ideas, it's just best to listen to them, you know? So would this be House of Amori or House of Barabbas? How do I want to draw that? I don't know. What I do absolutely adore, that colour I absolutely adore is green. I just love green, but is this a good idea? No, it's a terrible idea because that's not working very well. Right. So London. $19.10. A new arrival. A new arrival. From, oh, I'm running out of ink. From the island of Lagana. This might seem particularly childish, but I used to love doing this as a kid. Seriously, it was just it helps me visualize my characters and their worlds better. A young man arrives at house at house of Barabbas. So that's the name of the house. So in the series, in the books, you have the house of Barabbas and you have the house of Amori. So this I have is a young man arriving at the house of Barabbas. He is upset. And angry. He feels he has been betrayed by his family. Okay. Okay. So these are just supposed to be witching houses, and to be honest, I thought I was going to do a lot more writing, and I haven't really thought about using this book. I haven't really planned it out properly, because I thought I was going to do a lot more writing today. But no, I'm just doing lots of sketches. Weird sketches at that. Very weird sketches. Okay. 24th of March, 2024. Okay. I was going to draw like a little boat to show him arriving, but I could draw a boat actually. I don't know how well a boat would fit in. I clearly have no idea how boats work, and that's fine. I think that's... My favorite thing here for me is my colored pens. I'm getting such joy out of them. This is cargo. Grey. Oh, should I use black? I'm going to use black. I wonder if it's tricky to try and... I want to make the roof tiles a slate colour. I don't know if that's going to be a bad idea or not. Oh, I'm gonna give it a go. Yeah, this is very light. Okay, it's not a great grey, is it? Okay, and every other colour is just a bit too bright and happy and cheerful. That's supposed to be a hooded figure. I don't know if that actually works or not. Probably not. But you know what? It's all a trial and error. So they always wear black. Naturally, because they're all witches and warlocks, so they always wear black. Yeah. I was going to try and give this a little sail, but I don't know if that will work. I'm not very good at drawing these sails and stuff. Oh, I think I'm ruining it, and that's fine. Yeah, I've ruined it. And that's fine. I should have placed the boat much lower. But hey ho. Okay. So this is all along the lines of trying to help understand the premise behind this book. And so this book is an ebook, it's only online, and the premise behind the series, because this book goes on to play a very crucial role in the entire series. I wonder if I should have used more the young man feels immense guilt after leaving his island. We don't know anything about his identity in the prequel. And we won't find out much till the book series is almost over. Okay, so I did find that quite therapeutic, really therapeutic actually. So I think I might start doing that, just drawing what I want to convey in each scene. Now, obviously, the artwork isn't great. I mean, it's not, it's no, you know, it's not perfect by any means, but I think it does help me visualize a lot better what I'm trying to convey. Because right now, the prequel is out, the first book is out. However, book 2 is coming out fairly soon. And I want there to, basically, this story is going to tie into one of the later books. And I want it all to be conveyed properly, if you understand what I mean, because I want the series, I want this story and what happened in the first book to emerge in the later books, because it all ties in. Okay, so I want the cover designer to start designing books books 3 and 4, because she's not on books 3 and 4 yet. And when she does them, it's supposed to be all around the return of someone from this first book, if you see what I mean. So it's like a big return, and I want it to be very mysterious as well. Okay. I think I might try and do this in pencil next time, because I don't think I'm very good with these pens. This is absolutely tragic. It's tragic in so many ways, but at least I'm trying, and I'm looking at what works and what doesn't work. So once again, I know people asked me to let them know if I was going to be a live, but I didn't know I was going to have the chance to do a live this afternoon. It's Sunday afternoon where I am right now, in the so I just didn't know I'd get the chance to. And what I don't want to do is advertise a live and then just not turn up for it. That would be really, really disrespectful to people. Yeah, I prefer it with a bit more colour, actually. And one thing about just sketching, even though it's like the sketches might be a bit terrible, one thing about sketching the character, sketching the scenes you want or that are important to you is you get to see you get to visualize everything. Yeah, this might work better with pencil next time, I reckon. This is so funny. Well, it's fun. I think I prefer putting a bit of colour in it. I know a lot of people don't particularly like dark books about black magic and stuff like that, but even though it's a dark series, it's still quite enjoyable. I mean, it's not like twee magic. It's inspired by different cultures, and it also has a lot of superstitions from different cultures across the world. And because I've travelled so much in my life, I've done so much travelling, it's really hard for me to ignore all these superstitions I've heard so much about. So I always think about them. And I always remember them. And one thing about travelling as well is that when you travel quite a distance and you travel for so many years, and because I've done Africa, I've done Asia, I've been to Africa, Asia, South America and Central America. I've never been to North America, but I've been Africa, Asia, Southeast Asia, East Asia, South Asia, South America, all of Africa. Yeah, and one thing I now fully understand is that the world is an extremely superstitious place. And even with the onset of organized religion, a lot of people still keep their superstitions really close by. Really, even with the organized religion, they still have organized religion and then their own traditional religions side by side. They've never been able to let go of any of that. That's just going to be a turret building. I'm also working on two more books at the moment. But one is technically finished. Technically finished. But I don't have a cover for it yet because I just didn't focus enough on that. And I think that's fine. So, this is supposed to represent the River Thames in London, which is quite a strange looking river, I can imagine. It's supposed to represent the River Thames. And this is a young warlock arriving on a boat, but we don't know what his name is. It's supposed to be an entire mystery behind his arrival and his future. Oh, it's just dawned on me I'm not the tidiest person in the world, but I don't think it's supposed to be tidy. I think it's supposed to be chaotic and, just messy and chaotic, So the young man feels immense guilt after leaving his island. Well, after being forced to leave his island. We don't know anything about his identity in the prequel, and we won't find out much till the book series is almost over. So this is Heathens a Perilous Rescue. And what I find actually funny is the way I've introduced each of the characters into the books is actually, I didn't realise it's actually pretty funny. Because, so this is A Dark Welcome, this is the first book. And you have Chloe. So Chloe is Clover. Luca, that's one of my favourite characters. Ian. And I'm not sure if I just enjoy writing troubled characters, but that's Una. I love that name, it's an Irish name. But I actually saw I was on a bus in London once, and I saw this girl, and she looked straight at me, and she looked so angry. She was just having a bad day, I think. But she was quite striking. And I thought, that's Una, and that's who I imagined Una to look like, because when she looked at me, she looked right through me. And it was one of the most terrifying experiences of my life, because she was just full of rage, but, yeah. Well, I'm happy with it. Okay, so I'm almost at an end here. So this is just me having a creative moment. So this will be creative to some people, to other people. This is a big mess, but this does actually help me visualize quite a lot. I know it seems a bit silly at the moment, but it does help me visualize my characters, what I want them to do, what I want to happen. Yeah. I'm gonna draw a poison bottle. I love my little bottles. Okay. I think poisons are normally green, aren't they? Like a normally greenish mix of... Oh, I've got 3 shades of green. Look at that. That's amazing. Huh. I've got that green. Oh, look at that. I'm quite happy with this actually. I think that green goes in the middle. Between those two, maybe, yeah. So I know it sounds silly, but this is what used to just gladden my heart when I was a kid. Just I spent hours doing this. My parents would be like, "What have you done today?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm trying, I've drawn some weird sketches." Oh, of what? You wouldn't understand. The good thing is that you can have no idea how to draw, but because of the way art is interpreted, and it's down to interpretation. No one can give you a hard time. And like that is the beauty of it. No one can actually give you a hard time because genuinely you're just trying your best, which I think for me is fascinating. So I thought I would do more in terms of the the house, but I think I might go into drawing the interior next and see what the interior looks like. So he's arriving. Because he's arriving, lights have to come on. Now, this is 1910, so there would have been more lanterns around the area, around the place. Yeah. I really want some colour on the roof, but I don't know what to do with the roof. Okay. Oh, this is very like faint grey. Extremely faint. So, just to reiterate, this is how I used to world build when I was a kid. I would have entire books. So this book is a new one I've started working with, and I think I'm going to do this maybe every day, just whilst I have any ounce of inspiration inside me. But this is how I used to world build as a kid. I would just draw everything. My artwork has gotten significantly worse. I don't know how. I think because it was a lack of practice or whatever. But this is how I used to do it, and I'd write little snippets of the character, what I wanted the character to represent, or who they were. Just little, so just little themes around them. So this is a character. This is a magical house. This is a house of Barabbas, a house of Barabbas. So there are two houses, witching houses. There's a house of Barabbas and house of Omori. And he's arriving from a mysterious island. And he feels he's not very happy about arriving at these magical houses. But clearly he's done something wrong. So he's in a bit of trouble. And what I always say to people is, it doesn't even matter if you can't draw, if you can't sketch anything. If you really want to imagine something, you've got to try and put it down on paper somehow, anyhow. And it doesn't matter if people see it or not. When I used to like draw little silly things as a kid, my uncles and aunts used to see it, and they were always like, "Oh, it's so great." And perhaps it wasn't great actually, but they just said it was great, which gave me a false sense of security. But nonetheless, this is how I tend to world build, and I still do it now as an adult. I have lots of old books I've drawn many sketches in. Like, for example, when I did the Dwellers Beneath the Arches, just to show you the Dwellers books here. So this is the Dwellers Beneath the Arches series. These three, I pretty much, as the Dwellers book 1, that's book 2, and that's book 3. These I had an idea of what I wanted it to look like, but I couldn't quite explain it to my cover design. He was amazing, Andrew. And he said, okay. And he said, what's the book? What are the books about? And I told him, and I said, I want the characters on the covers, but I don't want them to be on the covers. And he was like, what on earth do you mean? And I was like, like a silhouette. And he was like, oh, a silhouette. And this is what he got me. And these are the three main characters. And those are the dwellers right behind them. So three main characters, the dwellers. And these are the main characters in book 2. So this is the dwellers, Browning House. And this is the Longest Night. And I must say that when he did the Longest Night, I was really impressed because these are 4 characters, but obviously this character is there's a distance between the 2 groups, and he just absolutely got it. And obviously the Dwellers series is about a search for a world beneath London. So the blurb reads, back of the book, a shift in the night, a red foam box by arched trees, an enchanted world deep beneath London. A family tragedy sets Asha on a peculiar vow of silence until she meets the Dwellers, a community transported to our time from old London. The Dwellers are in search of a missing part of their world, last spotted in 1821, when they were being hunted by the Bow Street Runners. Asha reunites with her estranged childhood friends, Sarah and Jonathan, to aid in the search, but they find a new enemy stalks the Dwellers. They are from modern-day London. They are very determined, and they might be more dangerous than the runners ever were. They are the mimes. And I'm still so happy with these books. I'm just so happy with them. Obviously, the fantasy world is changing now because people like more, they like their fantasy, can I say this on a live? They like their fantasy quite, I want to say, sexy. How do I find the names of characters? I just world build that. It's all part of the world building process. It just comes to me. Sometimes I see people who inspire me and the names just come to me. I don't really have a process for thinking of different names. Like with this series, that's Asha, Sarah, Jonathan. That's it. Asha is East African name, like Kenyan. That's Swahili. Jonathan is English, and Sarah is English. And it was extremely easy to come up with these characters in my, So, I think coming up with character names can be it doesn't have to be a complicated process at all. I think sometimes we overcomplicate things. And I've read some books where you can tell that the author has tried too hard to think up character names, and then they've sort of fumbled it a bit, or the names sound a bit strange. But I think don't overthink it. Just go with your first thought. Go with your first thought, your first instinct, and that's exactly what I've done with a lot of these books. With a lot of the characters here, Eden. I used to know someone called Eden. That was fairly easy. Ian. Ian was a name I once heard. I worked with someone called Ian, and her name was absolutely stunning. There's another character called Rhoda, Roda, and I thought her name was so beautiful. And because I actually met someone called Rhoda, Luca. So sometimes you meet people in reality as well, and they are just such enigmatic people that you never quite forget them, and you always remember who they are. So, I think I'm going to stop there for today. So this is how I world build. I will continue to world build. I know some people find it very boring. I find it quite interesting because, it's a world, it's books, and it's characters, and it's really bad art. But, I mean, we all see bad art, or like art we don't like, But I like this, and there's a world that they live in within London that I'm going to try and draw next, just to envision that some more and just to to visualize it a lot more. And yeah, I hope you join me next time. For the people who did manage to watch this, thank you very much for watching it. And yes, please do let me know if you can join next time. I will try to let people know if I'm doing this in advance. But like I said, it's really, really hard because at the moment I'm in Budapest in Hungary. I live here at the moment, and I'm not I'm not in the US or the UK, or you know, I'm moving further towards the east, and it's really hard to sort the times out. But I will try and advertise. But once again, the lives can be watched later on anyway, the live streams. So thank you. Bye.